GM guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I hope you're having a good time. Today I'll be making another video on the Frax Finance ecosystem, and today I'll be talking about one of the most important aspects of their real world asset adventures. In my last video I talked about staked Frax and how it is being reflected on the Frax Finance RWE ventures. Now today I'll be talking about one of the most important aspect of their real world adventures, and that is Fraxbonds. Now let's get into it. Now this is the Frax Finance white paper from their website, and then I'll be explaining everything about Fraxbond from this document. So they said Fraxbonds are, that's FXBs, that's the shortened form for Fraxbonds. So they said Fraxbonds are utility tokens that convert to Frax stablecoins at a predefined timestamp. So Fraxbonds are like the US Treasury bills, the US US Treasury bonds, and but the difference is this is on-chain, So they said these are bonds that convert to Frax stablecoins at a predefined timestamp. So these Frax bonds, you buy them and then they convert to the Frax stablecoins at a predefined timestamp that is issued by a smart contract. So Frax bond tokens, they are simple, they are trustless tokens that resemble a zero coupon bond that convert to the Frax stablecoin on maturity. So they are a zero bonds that convert to the Frax stablecoins on maturity. So when you buy these Frax bonds, they convert when they mature at a particular timestamp, then they convert back to the Frax stablecoins. Their Frax FXBs are debt tokens denominated in Frax stablecoins and not to any other assets or collateral. Frax bond tokens are convertible only to Frax. So this means that when you buy your Frax bond, you can't convert them to Frax ETH, you can't convert them to FXs, you can't convert them to FPI or FPIs. You can only convert them to the Frax stablecoins, and they do not guarantee the Frax peg, the Frax value, or yield any interest in any other assets except Frax. So Frax bonds are only pegged to Frax, to the Frax stablecoins, and they do not guarantee the peg or the value. So the only thing you can do is you can buy this at a discounted face value, then you can convert them back to the Frax stablecoins when they are mature. So they said Frax bond do not entitle the holder to any asset off chain or on chain other than the Frax stablecoin. So the only thing you can convert your Frax bond to is the Frax stablecoins. You can't convert them to any other real world asset or US Treasury bills or any other thing. You can only convert your Frax bond into Frax, and they do not have any other utility except trustlessly converting to Frax stablecoin at the pre-programmed maturity timestamp generated at their minting. So the only utility that Frax bond has is that they can only be converted back to the Frax stablecoins at their maturity date, and this maturity date is issued by the smart contract only during the time when they are being minted. So when you are minting your FXBs, then the timestamp for the maturity will have been issued on it. So Fraxbond only guarantee that they convert to Frax on a one-to-one basis through the smart contract that issued them. As I said earlier, you can only convert your Fraxbond to the Frax stablecoin. This is the Fraxbond logo. Then they said while one FXB will always equal one Frax, the FXB auctions of FXBs at the FXB AMO, that is automatic market operator, auctions of FXBs at a discount to face value. So the only advantage you have is that you can buy the Fraxbond at the discounted price, probably 0.98, 0.97, 0.99. Then you can convert it back to the corresponding value of the Frax stablecoins upon maturity. So they said each Fraxbond token is a fungible ERC20 token deployed from an on-chain contract. Immediately at minting time, Frax stablecoins are minted into FXB redemption dates for conversion on maturity. So what this is saying that Frax bonds are Frax stablecoins that are minted into a Frax bond redemption contract, and then it is from this contract that issues the timestamp for their conversion. So at the end of the day, FXB matures at the end of the day for their maturity date in UTC, and they have no expirations. That means Frax bonds cannot expire. They can only mature, so they cannot expire. Then when they are mature, you can convert them back to the Frax stable coins. For example, the March 31 2024 FXB is able to be bought back for its corresponding frac as soon as 171192960. So this is saying is that you don't have to get caught up in the technical aspect. So what this is saying is that this this is MER 31 2024. This stands for March 31st 2024. This is the maturity date of this particular Fraxbond token. So when this date is reached, the smart contract automatically converts it back into the Frax stable coin, and then you can convert it back to, you can withdraw it back to your wallet or any other way in which you choose to go about it. So this series auctions helps to, through the gradual Dutch auction, that's GDA. This helps to regulate the price of the Frax Fraxbond tokens, and the price limit is set by the Frax Gov. So this guarantees that the Fraxbond tokens are not sold for price lower than the floor limit. So this GDA helps to regulate the price and make sure that they are not sold lower for the floor limit. So this is the link to the FXB auction page. This is the auction page. This is the diagram of the FXB system. This is the user. This is Frax. Deposit Frax. You buy Frax bond. Then when you buy Frax bond into Frax, then Frax into Frax bond. This is the contract. This is the contract that mints your Frax into FXBs. This is the auction. This is the AMO that regulates how you can probably buy at a lower discounted value. So this is the complete page that shows. This illustration shows how the Frax bond system works. So this is the contract. This is the FXB factory contract auction, and then this is the AMO. Then this diagram shows. Let's go to this. This is the maturity date of this Frax bond. This is March 31st 2024. This is the Frax bond. This is the auction. This is the Oracle, and this is the curve pool. There's nothing here yet because the Frax bonds are not live yet. But once they are live, you can see the links here, and then you can get access to them on the curve pool or the curve finance website. So this is June 30 2024. This is the expiration date of this Frax bond, 31st 2024, 35 2025, December 31st, and so on and so forth. So now, for more understanding of Frax bond, let's examine the tweet of one of Frax Finance best content writer. That's a stable scarab. So let's go to his tweet and let's check out what he has to say about Frax bond. So let's go into it. This is Frax bond, a game changer in real world asset. So he said, many have tried RWs and failed, and I believe Frax Finance has cracked the youth. So let's get to what he has to say about Frax bonds. Now he said, let's get to you. This is what are Frax bonds. Frax bonds are ERC20 tokens sold at a discount, as I said earlier, and then you can convert them back to one Frax upon maturity. They will have labels like FXBs 2104, that is the maturity date. To not fragment liquidity, they will likely start with annual maturities up to 4 years. So this is the Frax bond utility. The curve pools will be created for each of the Frax bond tokens with different maturities. So once Frax bonds are live, there will be pools created on the curve finance pool for each Frax bond token with different maturities, ensuring deep liquidity. So by doing this, you can benefit both from the Frax bond yield and the curve pool incentives. So these are an opportunity for you to make some juicy yields for through buying the Frax bonds. So if you buy Frax bond, by participating in this, you can stake your Frax bonds on the core finance pool, and you can earn the pool incentives and then the Frax bond yield also. So as I said earlier, Frax bonds are part of the Frax plan for Frax V3, and Sam said they are the final stablecoin. So I'm pretty excited for what Frax bond is going to do. So the Frax bond is going to be launched early this year, probably January or February, and then let's see what new magic the Frax Finance team has for us. So that's all on Fraxbonds. If you have any other question, you can answer. You can just drop your question in the comment, and I'll be looking and I'll answer as much as I can. And then if you have any question, you can go to the Frax Finance Telegram. You can ask your questions, and then the people will be there to answer you. And then you can read more about Frax Finance and Fraxbonds on their website. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos on the Frax Finance ecosystem. Thank you very much.